Any of these visuals that you've seen looking familiar perhaps? Have you maybe witnessed it in any of your friends, relatives, your colleagues? And perhaps you are actually having some of these clutters somewhere in your area of life. So yes, today we are talking clutter. My name is Lady Sue, your spiritual life coach. Did you know that clutter does not only represent, as we would normally perceive, laziness, untidiness, and one not being able to take care of themselves or to be organized in their lives? It actually has some psychological effect in it. Clutter can represent depression and anxiety. It's a pity because these are the areas that we normally shunt, especially issues relating to mental illness. We are at an era in life where mental illness is right at our face and we cannot ignore it anymore. The only thing that we need to do is to confront it head on by changing our perceptions, dispelling the misconceptions that we have, and maybe seeking more information and doing some research so that we can understand it better, so that we can break the stigma that is attached to it. I know in the townships, we normally give names. We have our own lingo. Perhaps instead of calling it a mental illness, we can even have our own lingo, which does not impact negatively in our minds, which we do not actually relate to as being stereotype and prejudice to each other. Okay, without further ado, I'm just going to share a few things which we normally do in our spaces, the different clutters that we have, which can actually be an indication that you've got underlying issues which are actually depressing you or creating some form of anxiety, as we understand that anxiety goes all in hand with a fear, where we are forever fearful, maybe about the past or even the future. So I'm quickly going to share the few clutters that you might actually be experiencing. The first one is physical clutter. I'm certain that this one everyone can relate to because we can see it, we can encounter it at any moment in our spaces. So the one that is more on my thought, which I know a lot of us know about, the conditions of our wardrobes. There is so much clothes in our wardrobes, and sometimes you find that it is so full and disorganized that you can't even find your own clothes. You keep wearing the same clothes because you have even forgotten of other stuff that are there. The area where you put hangers, it's actually about to fall because it's so heavy with very old stuff going back to your teenage years, and you keep thinking that at some day you are going to wear them or you are going to lose weight so that you can wear these lovely clothes that you so feel dearly about. However, in this video, I'm not going to talk much about hoarding because that is a complex issue and it's a subject for another day. So I'm simply discussing clutter. So the other one that is more visible, it's there's people who keep, I'm certain that you are familiar with this one as well, where there would be an old car parked in the yard and the owner keeps thinking, I'm going to fix it at some point. You know, we also have a habit of buying a lot of food, a lot of stuff, and we keep that food in the fridge. The fridge is so packed with stuff that we know for sure that we never eat, or perhaps because in our past days we didn't have much to eat and we feel that we do not want to lack. Therefore, that is why we are buying a lot of food and keeping food in our fridge, which gets rotten and we end up throwing it in the bin. So these are quite a few when it comes to physical clutter. The other one is mental clutter. With mental clutter, we have so much in our minds that is kept, and we are very forgetful. You know, you would put keys and you don't know where you have placed the keys. You will put sugar in the fridge. You know, these are all signs that you need to calm down and you need to start having time to yourself so that you can revive your energy, so that you can be in touch with yourself. The other one, paper clutter. There are offices full of papers. You know, our drawers are full of papers. Our desks, they've got papers everywhere. Our wallets have slips going back to 5 years because there are certain issues that we are not addressing about our finances, and instead of keeping a solid budget and documentation of what the things that you need to do and writing down, because you know that you are failing in those areas, you are somehow keeping all these receipts thinking that at some point I'm going to go through them, and or I might need them for something for whatever reason, and you keep holding on to these receipts and piling up, yet you are not confronting the exact issues regarding your finances or challenges that you are having. Even in the office, you keep procrastinating tasks. You are keeping those papers and not following maybe the proper system that you have so that you can actually be more organized and keep track of whatever that you are doing. Instead, you are piling those papers with the hope that you don't want to throw them away just in case there's information that you need. Even with the introduction of online systems, you know, technology, yet we are still holding back. You know, we can't even integrate to the newer way of doing things. So these are some of the things that actually relates to our past traumas and the things that we actually have impacted us, or that have created us to have certain traits and habits which we are not able to throw away or to blend with when newer circumstances and situations come into our lives. Okay, so there's also mental clutter. With mental clutter, it makes us to be so forgetful. You know, you lose meaning with life. You set goals, you don't push them. You feel like you are so lost. You feel hollowness and that you don't have the desire and purpose with life. You feel like you have even lost who you are. So mental clutter, indications of that as well would be like how we seriously forget. So sometimes people put sugar in the fridge and they put open fresh milk in the cupboards. These are the things that we do, and we need to start being kind to ourselves instead of judging ourselves and realize that This is maybe a call for me to dive in, take a deep breath, and just connect with myself and the energies around me so that I can actually get to the bottom of what exactly is happening. Maybe your mind is just clogged, you are a creative person, all of a sudden you don't have ideas anymore, or your mind is blocked. Sometimes it's because it's overworked and you just need to, to calm down. Or you are so anxious about this project, you've got fear about, the things that you are creating in your mind, which obviously would have an influence with the level of anxiety that you can carry in your space. The next one, emotional clutter. With emotional clutter, we become so emotional. At times, we react unreasonably and for no reason, Sometimes, yes, there is reasons, but we overreact over situations, where you find that you are fighting, yet it was just something very small. It's because that thing has actually triggered something in you that you have not dealt with. So your reaction is not from what just happened now, but it's kind of a trigger from your past, which is actually giving you this rage, resentment. And we carry so much resentment is in us. We carry so much rage, we carry so much hate. And these are some of the emotions that actually create blockages in our systems, that actually make it difficult for us to channel the right energies so that we can be able to continue normally and integrate in our society and with the relationships that we have. Okay, and then the other one is relationships. With this one, a lot of anxiety and depression affects this area of our lives. So when I say relationship clutter, I mean we have people in our lives, we create relationships that are toxic to us. We have a lot of people that normally do not even add us, but they actually make us lose who we are, but we still continue with those relationships. The people that value us, the people that impact positively in our lives, we have a few of those. We see people who are, out there to attack us. You see people, everyone is toxic. All of a sudden, you think that everywhere you are going, people are actually attacking you. So it could be in relation with your past experiences, which you haven't actually dealt with, and you carry it throughout in relationships. I will share my experiences just so I can maybe elaborate further on this subject. But yes, relationship clutter, it's having, some people have a lot of friends. And when you look, those friends are not even adding any value. They're not impacting anything in your life. But you cannot let go of them. And people that end up suffering are the precious relationships that you are supposed to nurture and mend, because you are spending so much time with relationships that do not matter. So you are cluttered with a whole lot of people in your life and in your circle that do not add value to you. And because you want to serve them, you end up neglecting the relationships that you are actually supposed to be pouring in. And then there's time clutter. We consume so much. We set targets that are beyond bounds. We don't look at the actual time that we have when we take projects and things. And before you know it, you realize that you do not have any time to do certain things, and you will neglect some of the important things, because you need to understand that you only have so much time and this is what you are working with. But when you are not consciously vigilant about the time that you actually have, you would end up taking a lot of things that you are supposed to be doing, and you end up not dedicating your time productively and proactively. When we talk about clutters, we are not only referring to the messed house. You can't find things there. The chairs are at the door. While I'm in that subject and talking about a messy house, I'm just reminded as well about postpartum depression, where a lot of our ladies, after having babies, they go into depression, and you find that they can't organize the house. Everything is just a mess. They are going through a lot. And with today's modern days, where you find that you are all on your own, or you have a helper but you don't have family members like in the old days, when we had our grannies, bomagogo, helping us. You don't have anyone to give you that support, and you find yourself overwhelmed with this change, the body change, the routine change, the demands of the baby and everything. We need to start showing some love and kindness by helping these people instead of judging them. Extra support from hubby, extra support from family members during weekends, coming to tidy the house, just to give that moral support that a person needs. So this is actually a very sensitive topic, but then it is affecting us. And as I had indicated, that we need to change our minds and perceptions so that we can actually conquer. Most clients as well also highlight that it's easy for them to clean other people's mess. This actually goes to show that this is more psychological than anything. When you go to people's houses, you clean their messes and whatever, but you can't clean your own mess, because you feel so overwhelmed and so disempowered because of whatever your psychological issues that you haven't dealt with, mostly like your past trauma. So that is why it's easy for you to clean other people's mess, because it's not yours. There are no feelings, there are no attachment, and there are no unresolved issues. But when it comes to your cleaning, it's difficult, because now you are opening yourself up to where you don't want to go. Maybe just to also give an overview in terms of why I'm linking clutter to psychological aspects, where we are saying some of the clutter has to do with depression and anxiety. Just to also make a disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I am not a psychologist, I am not a psychiatrist either. So this is just a disclaimer. However, I have studied psychology. My level with my qualification, it's of a counselor. So I do deal with clients, and most of my clients are people suffering, with issues that are quite similar with my own journey, because I believe that somehow as healers, we are drawn to be in the space where the people that we are healing are actually a resemblance of our own lives, so that when we go in this journey with them, we are going with first-hand experience, the things that have happened in our lives, and there's a reason for that. Hence, as healers, we need to also work together. I don't think there's competition, because doctors also specialize. Your area of expertise, and your clients are the ones that are going to be drawn to you, because you have this special skill or gift, whatever, that is in relation with whoever or the kind of people that you are going to be serving. So I work more with ladies, having gone through these experiences that I've also witnessed, where we work with energy healing, where we work with the heart chakra, which is the center of everything, where we align the different chakras in our bodies so that we are able to unblock some of these energy streams, so that the proper energy can be able to flow, so that there's also alignment in the energy. So with conventional medicine and how the doctors deal with depression, some doctors deal with depression, as they normally say, mental illness has to do with a chemical imbalance. So the mind has transmitters, neurotransmitters. I'm sure some of you guys know about serotonin and dopamine, which are some of the chemical transmitters in the brain. So what happens is you find that when there's a misalignment, where your neurotransmitters are either too active at some point, neurotransmitters, we also regard them as energy, the energy in the brain, because everything is energy. Creation is so beautiful. That is why we've got this fight and flight mode. It comes natural to us as an instinct. You can't put your hands in the fire because you know that you are going to get burned. So your brain will send a message for you to fly, when you are in danger. So sometimes when things happen to us, especially traumatic events, when they happen to us, we find that those transmitters, those energies, they work too much, where you find that these chemicals are working too much because you are always in the flight mode. You are always thinking danger, danger, so they remain open. At some point, it's just like a car that is traveling a lot. The engine, for example, it overworks and you need to take it to service, you need to maintain it. So which is where energy work also come in, which is where mindfulness also come in, where you need to make time to yourself, you need to dive in, you need to re-energize, you need to revive, you need to check what is it that is making me use these areas more. What is it that makes me think that I'm in danger? And it causes so much depression. And sometimes, what is it? Why am I so overprotective? I've created this wall and I become anxious with matters. I don't trust people in my space when I do things, even if I'm bombarded with tasks. I wouldn't want to give them to somebody else. I would rather do them myself because I can't trust anyone except myself. Yet you are actually putting yourself under a lot of strain, and you are using the brain is using certain chemicals and they are overworking, and yet you are not recharging, you are not re-energizing, because we are forever running with whatever task and we do not have time to go back and recharge and realign those energies that we are actually consuming. So I wanted to simplify it like that. I hope it does make sense a bit. But then the nice thing is that there is extensive research that is being done lately. So the medical field is also worried about this crisis that we are facing as a nation, not even as a country. So they are putting a lot of work in research, and some doctors and medical practitioners who were doing things in a conventional way, where they relied on medication to address issues, they are now coming back and looking at other ways and doing work around energy healing, where they are now opening up to your mindfulness, meditation, breath work, because you need to understand that yes, the antidepressants can be used as a temporary measure, maybe just to stabilize, just so that you can learn the natural ways of coping with situation. Because through creation, we have been given that power to actually be able to deal and handle situations. So, which is where energy work comes in, so that it can revive and rebalance and realign those energies that were overworked, so that you do not need to use antidepressants for a very long time, because they also have their side effects. So doctors are open, as you know, that there is people who are out in service to serve. So those who are out in service to serve, they are putting aside the issue of the pharmacy space, where if more people are now empowered and they can be able to balance and find healing in themselves, it means less for the pharmaceutical companies and for doctors. However, because we know there is doctors who are out there to, serve and try to help the clients in the best that they can be. Hence, they are devoting to doing all this research, since they are more qualified, and to join hands with scientists, so that we can actually conquer this catastrophic time that we are in. We have come to the end of this engagement, and thank you so much for your time. Remember to like and to subscribe. Until we meet next time, thank you so much and goodbye.